Okay, welcome to the God Shot on depression. I'm really happy to be able to share this God Shot with my friend and family and marriage counselor, Cindy Garcia. Cindy, thanks for being with me on this.
Mhm.
Um, Cindy, I remember years ago hearing a statistic from the United Nations that said that their studies had revealed that at least 1 out of 3 people on this planet are seriously depressed. And that was years ago. I think with all we've had happen in our world since, it probably is higher than 1 out of 3. So, Cindy, as a therapist, you see people that are struggling with depression. What advice, if there's somebody watching this God shot that's like, I just not okay anymore, nothing brings me any joy, what would you say? What have you seen, and what advice would you give?
Well, one, if they're having those thoughts, like those are really depressive thoughts to have, and please get the help you need. Like there are resources available for everyone. Like, and if there's anyone here watching that they have, a tricky immigration status and they don't have health insurance currently, there's a lot of nonprofits that will take you and they will waive the fee or you will get the treatment for free. I used to work at clinics like that. So don't use that as an excuse to not get the help you need either. But if those thoughts are happening besides getting the help you need, definitely surround yourself with positive people, like as much as you can. I mean, I know with the pandemic it's pretty difficult. We can't, be around each other too much, and if we are, it's with restrictions. I get that part, but there's nothing wrong with using this to your advantage. You can FaceTime someone who's been a good support system to you. You can Zoom them. You did like there's a whole we're very fortunate with technology because we can stay connected that way. So I would definitely suggest that you do not stay alone because it's really not wise and it's not safe either at times. Definitely get the help you need, and then with the help that you get, the therapist will help you explore what are your depressive triggers, what are your symptoms, and ways that you can cope better with all that stuff.
Mm. Cindy, as you know, in some families and some cultures, there's a very ingrained old school way of looking at things, which is like, we don't talk to other people. We keep our business to ourselves. And what would you say to a young person watching this God shot who kind of hears you and says, okay, she's saying get help, and I think I need to, but how do I approach my parents on this? Because they're from the old school as far as like, we don't tell other people what's going on. How do you break through that?
Yeah, that's usually very tricky, and especially my own culture. That I'm from the Latino culture, and there's a lot of either secrecy, like what happens in this house stays in this house, and then only the crazy people go to seek treatment. And what I've done with some parents is provide them with psychoeducation. Like one, we're not in that time frame anymore, and I don't think people who sought help back then were even crazy to begin with. The crazy people are in psychiatric institutions. So, but I would tell them to speak to their parents about it, and if just talking verbally is not something that is usually productive. I've had certain clients write their parents letters like and like slip it under the door, like their bedroom door, and be like, "Mom, Dad, like I've been having these thoughts. Like, please don't get worried, but like I feel like I need to talk to someone, and I was afraid to tell you, and I was kind of nervous how you would react. So I feel like slipping the letter under your bed or your door would have been the best thing. Or you could text your parents if you don't want to do the letter thing. You could just text them how what's going on, how you're feeling, but if you still are uncomfortable with doing either one of those two, sadly, like if you're watching this video and you're under 18, sadly, you cannot refer yourself. So if you're 18 or older, you can refer yourself and your parents don't have to know that you're getting treatment. But if you're under the age of 18, I really suggest that you find a way, the letters, texting them, or if you can speak to them in a very calm and non-judgmental way. If you come at your parents like you did this to me and now I'm all depressed and I need therapy because of this, I guarantee you your parents are not going to hear you. It's going to go in one ear and out the other, and all they're going to feel is disrespect. Like, you don't talk to me like that. Like, I'm your parent. Like, I'm superior to you and you should know better. But if you come at them with making it about you, like, I've been feeling really depressed, I've been feeling very alone, it's not a jab or a dig at you, mom or dad. It's just that I want help. And in order for me to get it, I need you guys to help me get it. And I've had more success that way when children come to their parents in a non judgmental and calm way. Their parents tend to hear them better like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Cindy, would you say that if all those efforts fail, that a young person should really maybe let somebody at their church or their school know that their parents are so resistant, and this person could maybe gently be the middle person
Mhm.
uh, that steps in after all their own efforts haven't worked out?
Yeah, that's actually a really good suggestion, Tony. If all those efforts don't pan out, please go to your if your family is involved with the church and they have a good rapport with the church, definitely seek the help of somebody that's affiliated there. Or if you have a good relationship with your guidance counselor or like your school social worker, definitely go to them because the social worker and the guidance counselor are trained in mental health treatment. So if they see that the child is in need of more assistance, they will definitely bring in the parents and they will definitely make sure that they let the parents know your child came to me because of these concerns and you really need to, get your child to therapy. And it would be on the guidance counselor or their social workers job to do that, and they will hold your parents accountable, and they will ensure that you're safe and that you get the help you need. And if not, then sadly, other interventions might come into play, like child protective services. But hopefully, nothing that extreme ever happens. But a guidance counselor or your church would definitely be a good resource to use.
So, Cindy, is it also a possibility for a young person to ask a family member that they themselves trust and that the parents respect to maybe let the parents know of the severity of the situation?
Yeah, that would be a good idea. Using a middleman sometimes helps, but kind of like the game of telephone, like you want to make sure that when you give the message to that middle person, that they're going to relay your message correctly to your parents or your loved one, your guardians, whoever it is. Because then, things can get misconstrued and then your message might not be heard or interpreted correctly. So you just want to make sure if you're going to go down that route, that that person relays your message as like correctly and as accurately as you had explained it to them.
Yeah. Cindy, what would you say about what we know is happening out there now? A lot of young people are becoming depressed because of their addiction to their screens. I can't remember what the official name for it is, but there's a because of the constant exposure to screens, the phone to the video game to the computer to the iPad to the video game, that this kind of is affecting young people's minds into a state of depression. What would you have to say about that?
To just watch your, I guess, device or tablet, whatever, just to watch how often you're using it. One, just, I mean, I'm not an eye doctor, but you're really, really damaging your eyes. Like, and if you're really young, like, you're gonna be like almost blind. I mean, not literally, but you're gonna have very terrible vision by the time you're like in your late 20s or 30s. Like, and you don't want that. So, like, just give your mind some time to relax and to get away from all this stuff because it's not good, one, for your eyes, but like how you said, Tony, it's not good for your mental health. And I would just have my clients, like, let's say they're on their tablet for like 8 hours a day. I wean them off slowly. I don't ask them to change overnight because that's not realistic either. So I tell them, okay, next week we're going to try just 7 hours, 7 hours a day instead of the eight. And then they report back to me how they're feeling. Oh my God, in that 1 hour, like, even though I was like bored, like, at least like maybe I took a nap or like I took a shower or I ate dinner or maybe I played with my dog, my cat, my turtle, whatever you have. And then if it's a good report that they're giving back to me, then I'm like, okay, next week let's go to 6 hours. I mean, I'm not trying to like tell them to not use their tablets, like, or their laptops or whatever, or play their video games. I'm not saying that either, but there's also a time when you should give yourself some space from that so that you can maybe reflect on what you're feeling. You can have some alone time, but without all this like in the way, that distraction, you know? Like
Mhm.
if you want to have your phone there, like let it be there if like you want to listen to music, but you don't need it right by your side. You can put it on like your countertop or your nightstand or something. But I would just suggest, you know, these young teens and children that are becoming addicted to their technology and it's making them depressed, just wean off of it a little bit, like every week, you know, and you will see a change. You will see a difference.
Okay, thanks. Cindy, again, when it comes to a young person going to their parents and saying that they're depressed, another thing that happens sometimes that the parent wants, they love their kid and they don't want their kid to be feeling bad. And sometimes they right away will bring them to a psychiatrist. We live in a culture, forget about, well, not forget about kids, but kids are, but even among adults, they say that 1 out of 5 adults in our society are on antidepressants. And so for a young person or an adult, would you say that a psychiatrist, which is going to prescribe medication, is not your first step, unless, of course, they're suicidal?
Yeah, if it's like to the point that it's like extreme and you're self harming and you're suicidal, definitely go see a psychiatrist. But if you need to, go to an emergency room and they will definitely give you the medication there. But if it's not to that extent, if you're like in the moderate and mild version, I guess, of the disorder,
Hmm.
then yeah, definitely see a therapist first. And then the therapist, we are trained to decide if, okay, maybe we might need to take the medication management route on top of the therapy. And
Uh-huh.
there's no shame in that. And like anti-anxiety medication and antidepressants, you don't have to be taking them forever. Just because you start them doesn't mean that you're going to be on them for life. So it might just be maybe 6 months. Maybe you might take them for a year. I've had a couple of cases where they've only taken it for a couple of months and they've seen the results that they've needed and then they wean off of it slowly, but with a psychiatrist consult because I can't consult that. So, but you definitely should have both if that's what is needed for you to, you know, get to the point where you need to. You would need a therapist and a psychiatrist.
Yeah, I always feel bad for a person who's never had the chance to actually try and talk it through. You
Mhm.
know, so I think that's good advice. Anything else you'd like to say about depression?
No, just if it's really, really bad, again, please get the help you need. There are many of resources out there. We're very fortunate that this country has a lot of different types of resources. You as an individual have a right to decide if you like want a male or female therapist, what type of therapy you're looking for, what type of goals that you want to accomplish in treatment, and it's up to the therapist to meet you where you're at and to get you to the point where you want to be in life.
Thanks, Cindy.
Hmm.